Hi world,
Hey guys.
welcome to our channel. Just before we start, if you haven't subscribed yet, please push the button, subscribe.
It's free. Go on.
3, 2, 1, subscribe. Okay, and when you did subscribe, don't forget to leave your comment and like this up or any other video. So thank you very much for your comments. It was very cool. Just last week we did our first live session on YouTube, so I leave the link somewhere up here or here.
Down. We're not sure yet.
It will be up. So yeah, if you haven't watched this, please do. It was really cool to share our thoughts, and today we decided to do this video, and basically this video it's about the interview of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so Harry and Meghan. It's everywhere. We haven't watched the full interview as yet. We're probably going to do it over the weekend.
Well, we watched the highlights because you cannot really comment if you haven't watched the full interviews, but we watched the highlights, and it's pretty intense. It's very shocking. Some of the, I don't want to call it accusations, but some of the comments that were said and how that she was treated. In my surprise, as a black woman, no. And yeah, so which highlights do you want to expand on?
Yeah, so first of all, what prompted us, to do this video, it's not the actual interview itself, it's the reaction, the reaction newspapers, reaction on the, on the TVs, because it's like so much buzz about it, and
The public.
Yeah, the public. The one thing that I kind of thought about as a father of a mixed race child, and that's something echoed with Harry. I just think that what Harry didn't realize is that he's going to have his wife who is mixed race, and that people is going to treat his child as
His kids, because they have differently.
Yeah, so what I think is that in his mind was like, oh yeah, we talk about this inclusion, we're talking about diversity, so it's everything, it's nice, everything is nice and shiny, and there will be no problem, but
when you put in the tests, it's something else.
yeah, so like in reality that it's still it's still there, the racism still exists. It's not easy to talk about, but when you experience that, this is the reaction, and I totally understand his reaction. So because that was his wife and that was his child, and he had to make the choices, either he stayed truthful to his wife and his child, or he stayed with his family, who is as we see wasn't really
It was
supporting.
a hard decision. It was a hard decision, because I think that he's a real man for doing that, because that's his heritage. He's a royal, so it was a hard decision for him to do that, and I think it speaks volume of his character as a man, as a father, as a husband, that he wanted to protect his family, because I think she mentioned also that she was having suicidal thoughts. She was thinking about hurting herself, and yeah, when someone has these ideas in their mind, that's a red flag. So I really commend him for taking his family away from this situation. I'm sure that it was extra difficult, because this is his life, like I said, this is his heritage. So I have a lot of amount of respect for him. I don't know if many men would have left behind this opulence, this big life, for a woman and a child, because as a man you can always remarry and have another family. So I really have a lot of respect for what he did, and yeah, it wasn't easy. I don't think it was easy at all. I don't think they just woke up one day and they were like, you know what, F all this, we fed up, we're going. Because I think the way the press is kind of portraying this, it's as if it was some kind of caprice, some kind of, they just wanted to be difficult. But it takes a lot of thought, it takes a lot of time for somebody to reach this decision. So yeah, I really have a lot of respect for him for doing that.
Yeah, and the other reason, that we're actually, making this video is because 2 weeks ago we received an email from one of our subscribers from UK, the guy named Mark. So hi, Mark. It was a long letter, email, and Mark also spoke about, his experience. He also in interracial relationships, and he'd been, married for 26 years. Have 3 daughters, and unfortunately, him and his wife divorced. But he asked us about, the experience. What is the experience with interracial couple have in Ireland? And
I mean, we can only talk about our experience.
Yeah.
Because we're also both immigrants. He's a Russian descendant, I'm Congolese, so we are immigrants here as well. So. Yeah, what is your experience? What do you want to say? And I will.
So to me, I really thought about, and I guess when my friends, like either Eastern European or whatever, they learn that my wife, she's an African. I think something is changing in attitude. I cannot say that exactly what is the moment that they becoming more kind of nicer, or but. I also, from my past experience, I know that people, I'm talking about the Eastern European, the Russian people, they won't say, the things, if let's say, there's 2 of us in the room and somebody is talking, they would not use the same language, they would not, say the things openly, where, if that's just me in the room, they might say something, and I had this, years ago, when somebody was talking, and then, he was
something negative, something positive. What is it?
It was, it wasn't not necessarily negative or
like
positive, but it was a stereotype, the stereotype thought, and it does.
Ignorance, isn't it?
It does hurt me, and the reason it's hurt me is that, to me, if you, here's my rule, is that, in life, if you cannot say something in person face, don't say it. It's either you say something that you can repeat and say it straight in person face, or just don't talk behind the back, mm-hmm. and I remember I felt disgust, I guess, in a way, knowing that, okay, if there was a situation where we had another black person in our conversation, you wouldn't say these things, so what I'm saying is that this racism, and just before we start filming, I had this Kanye West words that come in my mind, in one of his lyrics, where he said, race is still alive, they just reconsidering it. And it is true. We live in society where people talk about inclusion, diversity, but in the same time, like I remember one of my colleagues, former colleagues, a Spanish guy, and he approached, and it was years ago, and he started conversation. I can't remember exactly what was the conversation, but I remember what he said. The first thing he said, well, I'm not the racist, and then he started talking about, and to me, it was like, if you are not, you don't have to say it. Your action speaks louder than words, and unfortunately, it still exists, and it's really bugging me a lot, because I see my kids, and my kids, they're not aware of this, they're not aware of racism, they don't see, the color, they just see people, and
babe, the kids see colors.
I mean, they don't care about this.
They see colors. No, our kids, they do see color. Like for this one, I don't agree. Okay. Our kids, they do see color, but for them, it is in a way that it is beautiful. How do I know that our kids see color? I speak French to the kids Max speaks Russian to the kids. When Annabelle did not speak English, she would approach black people and speak to them in French, and she will approach white people and speak to them in Russian. When Annabelle draws, she draws herself in like her brown color, and she draws mommy in a darker brown color, and she draws daddy pink. So Annabelle sees color, Kirill sees color, but they see color in a way that the phone is red. It's just a fact, and it is beautiful to them. It is not something to be ashamed of. So I don't agree when you say that they don't see color. I think what you mean to say is that they do see color, but they don't see it in a threatening way. It's just as this, my shirt is black and this is it.
It's just metaphorical, a fact. Okay, it was metaphorical.
But I just have to say it.
Of course, they're not colorblind. You know what I'm saying is that they don't have this prejudice. What's the word?
Oh la la. I know what you mean. They see color, but they don't see it in a way that they will put you in a box. For them, it's just a fact. That's what I'm saying. Like my shirt is black and my shirt is black. My bandana is red and my bandana is red. It's just a fact for them. So, and anyway, that's just a. And talking about color, even before there was this other highlight that's, I think everyone heard of it, is even before the baby was born, someone made a comment or had some concern about how dark the baby was going to be. And this reminded me of the system in slavery in the US, where they had a brown paper bag. So they will put the brown paper bag against your skin, and if you were, I'm not American, but from what I read is that if you were darker than the brown paper bag, you couldn't enter, and if you were lighter than the brown paper bag, you will enter. And there was also this test for how curly your hair was. So if you could run your fingers through your hair, then you're Caucasian. If it gets stuck, then it's a bit. So I don't know if it's a good idea for them not to say who that person is, because it leaves this comment open to speculation, and I think it's very dangerous because, people are thinking, is it that person? Is it that person? So this is the part of the interview that I felt that it was, they made that comment, but they didn't give people closure, and this gives a lot of speculation, and it's a bit provocative. So that's the part of the interview that I felt that if you say it, come out and say the full story. Don't just hold the story and let the press think about, okay, he said that it was not the queen, and it was not, who's the queen's husband? I don't know.
Duke.
It was not the Duke. So it leaves his father, his brother, his sister-in-law, like it's just hanging in the air, and I don't think it's just going to go bigger and bigger and bigger. So I guess she said it because it is hurtful, and I understand. We have this colorism within, the black community, the African community. I had an African man tell me before that if I was lighter, I would be a 10 out of 10. So, those kind of comments, they are unacceptable, and I wish that they said it and they just came out with the full story. Because now my head is racing. Who said it? Because whoever said it, what if the person who said it is going to be the next king or queen of England? And we know how England is diverse. We know how the Commonwealth is diverse. So if whoever said it has obviously an issue with brown or black people, I think that the people have the right to know that whoever is ruling them has a problem with their skin. So I just wish they actually said it, like they just gave us the full story. So that's a bit frustrating that it's just a big question mark.
Yeah, so guys, it's just as you can see, this theme, even to us, it's not easy to talk about. It's not easy to talk about on camera. It's not easy to talk about between us because it's still, we live in a world where inequality exists, and this prejudice I can't even pronounce, but look,
preconceived ideas whether it's conscious or unconscious, all those stereotypes, they still exist. And look, babe, you will never know what it's like to be a woman, let alone a black woman, okay? You don't know, okay? So, I do respect the fact that we've been married for a long time, and he's still learning. Some days I will come home to him and I will be like, you won't believe what that person in the shop did, that person in the shop did.
Yeah, that experience, thanks for bringing that up, So my wife once, she went in the shop and
the supermarket,
the cashier, the way she was giving the cash.
So what happened is that the person in front of me, she was making chit chat with the person in front of me, the white lady in front of me. She was very friendly, she was very nice. And when came my turn, I was like, oh, hi. She didn't say hi. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe she didn't hear me. And as she was doing my transaction, she was very silent. And I was just like, okay. That's when I got the message. And I gave her cash and she had to give me coins. But instead of putting this on the palm of my hand, she threw it on that rolling thing for the groceries. And I was really shocked. And I didn't know what to say. I just picked up the coins and I left. And when I went outside, that's when I cried. And you know what, guys? You will never know how you will react to this kind of situation until you are faced with this type of situations. And for me, I was shocked and I reacted later on by crying. Because I was hurt, I was mad, I was shocked that I think it was 2019.
This is happening a few years back, but
2019,
to me,
2 years ago.
I still remember, because I'm getting very mad and frustrated a situation like this. And what I'm thinking about for my daughter, for my son, if they have to face this situation, it's just it's wrong. It's really wrong, because
it's life, and they will learn from me. They will learn. I will tell them.
To me, in this life, and again, it's when you're drowning, if happened to me, when I was a kid, I needed drown, and I actually remember the moment. I was with my friends, two girls, and one was older than I am, the other one's younger, like year difference, and one that was older, she knew how to swim, where the other, she was too young, and they both, they stood there and laughing, when I was literally, drowning. And I remember there was two women, they were smoking on the bench, it was the lake, handmade lake, if you like. So the woman, she came and she gave me her hand and pulled me out of the water. So to me, my way of seeing this life is that when you're facing this situation, it doesn't matter who will give you the hand. You need the hand. It doesn't matter at that particular moment. It's not matter who, what color, what nationality, what, the religion, nothing is matter. It's because this situation, right? And also, when people, when you need a blood or something, you really don't care. You really don't care, and this is what unites us. So it's really, really hurting me, to know that, there will be some people that will
in
not
places of authority.
Like even, talking about that, of course, that they will just, because of their skin color or because of their position in their skin color, they think that they can be actually the biggest boss, and they can do whatever, and they can say whatever, and it doesn't matter how it makes it people feel. And us as a biracial family, this is our experience. And I'm thinking about what about the black families there, the black families, and we immigrants, okay? This isn't the country that we were born in, right? But if you were born in the country, this is your place, and this is the only place and you call it home, and you experience this.
I get what you say, but to go back to that experience that I had, a part of me is glad that I didn't react as the angry black woman. And why am I saying that is because I remember there was this story that was saying that Meghan made her sister-in-law cry. And we, as a black woman, we know how the white women tear is very powerful. It is a very powerful weapon. When a white woman cries, she sees as she has to be rescued. You have to come to her rescue. She sees as this very, I don't know, fragile human being that you need to protect. And the way the media twisted it, they made Meghan look like the angry black woman, the aggressive black woman. However, it turns out, as per the interview, that it's actually Kate who made Meghan cry. So the media knows how to twist stuff, and it is very sad. So I'm glad that I didn't give any ammunition to that person who threw the money at me there, because if I had shouted or if I had thrown the money at her and if I was angry, it would be like, see, angry black woman.
Yeah,
but
that's why that's why we're treating you like this, because
this is. But
don't you think that this is your action?
But no,
that bring that reaction.
But obviously, if somebody pokes at you, you will have a reaction. Some of us will have a violent reaction. Some of us will just be speechless. But it's not because we're black. It's not because we're white. It's not because we're purple. It's not because we're yellow. It's not because we're orange or blue. It's because we're humans and we have our own personalities, our own emotions. So when I saw that snip of the interview whereby she said that it's actually Kate who made her cry, and I just realized that the media knows how to make you look like a bully.
Yeah.
So, you know what? It's a 2 hours interview.
Yeah.
I've saw the highlights, and just from the highlights, my blood is boiling. I'm very sad. And there's always two sides to every story. We haven't heard, and we may never hear the side of the other party involved. So this is kind of, I mean, everyone has an opinion, and I think I've already formed no opinion. I cannot say that I'm surprised, because this is something that I experience when I leave this house. People don't see me as Patricia, they see me as, and it is okay. When I see people in the street, I see the gender, I see the color, and I see the diversity, and I love it. So I wouldn't mind somebody looking at me and be like, oh, she's a beautiful black woman, but have a positive outlook. I see color, I'm not gonna lie, I see color, and I see the diversity in color. I see the beauty in the different races, from the skin texture to the hair texture to the nose to the lips to the eyes. It's beautiful to see. Diversity is beautiful. So I'm not gonna say that
beautiful
I don't see
people.
It is we live in a beautiful world, and yes, which also has ugly facades, but it's really sad, and I do wish them all the best of luck.
Yeah, let's just let's just leave this on positive note, and I guess the positive note is that the more we speak out, the more we show that it is not a taboo, and it shouldn't be just brushed under the rug. We need to address this.
Whether it's at
and we
work,
need to unite.
Whether it's
the workplace,
at work, your family, your
everywhere,
friends,
everywhere, and as I said, it's the mentality, it's the our perception, that needs to be changed.
But I don't think that racism will be it will always be there. But as long as people are willing to speak up and speak against it, I think those people will feel less and less powerful to speak up and to actually act on this hatred that they have. But anyway, so look.